Okay, we ready to get started? Let's call the regular board meeting for Toledo Public Schools for Tuesday, August 25th, 2026 to order. Section 1, we're going to start with a moment of silence. So if you wouldn't mind standing for a moment. So before we begin, we're going to have a brief moment of silence. This is in remembrance of the lives lost and forever changed by gun violence in our communities and across the nation. Let us honor their memory and stand in solidarity with those grieving and reflect on our shared responsibility to build safer spaces for all. Thank you. You may be seated. We have the roll call, please.
Yes. Mrs. Gerken?
Here.
Mr. Vasquez? Here. Mr. Parker? Here. Mrs. Varwig?
Present.
And Ms. Barnes?
Present. Thank you. At this time, the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have a video this month? Not yet? No. Okay. I know school just started, so we have to give them a little bit of time, right? If you'd like to stand for the pledge, you may do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Dr. Durant, the mission and vision, please.
Yes, TPS mission to provide innovative educational opportunities that ensure each student prepared for their future. Our vision statement to empower each and every student to lead and live a purpose-driven life. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to request a motion to adopt the August 25th, 2026 board agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Thank you. Section 2 are presentations, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Mazer.
Good evening and thank you. We have some good news to share to start tonight's meeting. For the fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2025, Toledo Public Schools received the following awards. The Association of School Business Officials International, or ASBO, presents to Toledo City School District a plaque awarded for the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. The Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA, also presents the award for the district's annual comprehensive financial report, as well as an award to Mr. Ryan Steck-Schulte, Treasurer/CFO, for his achievement in financial reporting.
Okay, that's fabulous. We should do a round of applause for that. Maybe we could send a copy to the state legislators.
Ms. Barwig, that award very distinctive. Out of 36,000 school districts in the country, only 143 received such an award. We were one. There was only 5 school districts in the state of Ohio, ourselves, Berea, Olentangy, Hilliard, and I believe one other outside of ourselves. So we have a lot to be proud about regarding that. Congratulations.
It's a great fun fact now, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Mazer? Okay, all right. We're going to move on to 2.02. It's a resolution recognizing August as Pride Month in Toledo Public Schools, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Barnes.
Thank you, Madam President. Resolution recognizing August as Pride Month in Toledo Public Schools. Whereas Toledo Public Schools is committed to creating a safe, welcoming, inclusive, and supportive learning and working environment where every student, employee, family, and community member is treated with dignity and respect. And whereas LGBTQ plus students and staff are valued members of Toledo Public Schools community whose identities, experience, and contributions strengthens our school and the community we serve. And whereas students learn and thrive when they feel safe, respected, and supported in their schools, and employees better serve students when they work in environments free of harassment, discrimination, or exclusion. And whereas meaningful learning, including learning about one another and recognizing both our common values and our different experiences help strengthens our schools and community. Whereas Pride Month provides an opportunity to recognize the history, contributions, and experience of LGBTQ plus individuals while reaffirming that importance of dignity, respect, and belonging for all people. And whereas TPS has an important role in modeling for students what it means to build, communities where differences are not a reason to exclude, but an opportunity to learn and grow. And whereas Toledo Public Schools recognize the importance of fostering school communities where bullying, harassment, and discrimination have no place. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of Toledo City School District that Section 1, the board hereby recognize August as Pride Month within Toledo Public Schools, celebrating and affirming the LGBTQ plus members of our student staff and community. Section 2, the board reaffirms its commitment to learning and working environments grounded in dignity, respect, belonging, and non-discrimination. Section 3, the board encourages all members of TPS community to contribute to schools and workplace where every person is treated with respect, value for their contributions, and afforded the opportunity to succeed. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effective from and immediately after its adoption. It is found and determined that all formal actions of this board relating to this resolution were taken in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you. Can I entertain the motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
I just want to thank my colleagues for making sure that we have this resolution in front of us each year. I think it's important to acknowledge that TPS is a welcoming district, and these kinds of resolutions to acknowledge Pride Month and so forth are ways for us to state it and restate it early and often, as often as we can. So words on a paper, but I truly believe that TPS is an inclusive community, and we're proud of that.
Ms. Barnes?
With the news of the queen herself of literacy, Dolly Parton, passing, I don't think people understand the intersectionality of Pride Month. I know Pride Month nationally is in June, but Toledo holds it in August, so people can, go to the places in Ohio and Michigan, and then come to Toledo to celebrate who you are as you are, and with the community that loves you. And so understanding the importance of being an ally, even if you're not in the community. Dolly Parton not only championed making sure every student knew how to read through her Imagination Station program that even my children benefited from, but she also made sure that every student was seen, heard, and valued as themselves, including those students who identify as LGBTQ+. And so I think this is a very pivotal moment for me to once read the resolution, understand how our allies show up for our education, and understand the intersectionality of having a safe space to read, and having allies who also fight for our safe spaces for our students is very important. So I am honored, not only as a board member, but a proud member of the community, to know that our district is making sure that our future is not only bright but inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor Parker?
I am always grateful that our district is, as it said in the resolution, that safe haven that really reaffirms the importance of dignity, respect, and belonging of all. And so the fact that our district really embraces that and becomes that welcoming district, as Mrs. Gerken stated, proves that our district really cares about our students and our staff. Regardless of what path, all of us are welcome to be the very best that we desire to be. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say, this is what student-centered decision is all about. So that's all I'm going to add to that. We'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Varwick?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, we're going to turn it back to Mrs. Mazer.
Yes, excuse me, I'd like to take one moment and share this year's TPS Proud video with everyone. Our theme for the year is It Starts With You.
Everybody talks about the first day like it's just for the kids. Nah, it's our first day too. All of us. Up early, getting ready, putting in the work. That's how we say every hot breakfast, every clean hallway, every open door says you matter here. You've got people here. You're home here. One kid wakes up and finds out a whole community woke up for him. So when those doors open, walk in like everybody's got your back. Because we do. It starts with us. Now and forevermore. TPS Proud!
Thank everyone who helped get that put together during the summer months, which was a challenge in itself.
Sure.
But yeah, so I'm very happy with that and love our new theme for the year. Board members all have shirts, so
Thank you.
please feel free to wear them when you're out and about. And we also have our new TPS Proud signs and register today. Please take those and post them and share them as well. My last presentation is to share the names of our retirees for this month. Julie Fisher, she is a secretary with 25 years and 11 months of service. Jennifer S. Kramer, grade 1 teacher at Ottawa River, 31.5 years of service. Charlene May, first grade teacher at Ottawa River, 32 years of service. And a building operator at Heather Downs, Gary Wolf, with 25 years of service, for a total of 113 years and 6 months of service to Toledo Public Schools.
Oh. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move to section 3, which are community comments. Okay, our community folk are not here tonight? Okay, well, we will move on. Section 4 is organizational input. Student representative, not this month, next month, is that correct? Yeah, probably. Okay. And then we're going to move to our parent representative, Miss Joanna White. My favorite parents.
Good evening, everyone. I am super happy to be here. I'm super happy to be chosen to sit at this seat each and every time that I'm here, right? It's a big deal. My daughter started Hawkins yesterday, and they had a great first day of school. They were excited the night before, getting everything together. Today, I popped in for Dr. Winfield. I just popped in, didn't have an appointment, asked if she was available to see me, and she did. And she greeted me with a beautiful smile that reached her eyes when I sat down at her desk, and she listened to me. She put her elbows on the table, on her chin, and just leaned right on in. She was definitely interested in what I had to say, because they don't have a PTO over there, and that's one of my jobs, is to make sure that that school has a PTO. So Mrs. Brinkman and I and Dr. Winfield are going to get together and get those parents over there going good. As a parent leader this year, one of the things I have not changed that we are definitely going to stay on top of addressing is attendance. We did those attendance blitz for the last 2 years in a row. I think it worked out well. We haven't had meetings this year yet, but I think we're going to do it again. We still have those signs registered today, because we know that there are students out there who are going to those charter schools, and after the first first week or so, their parents are not happy and they want to bring them back to TPS, and we want to let them know that they can still register their children, and we do have room for you. Tomorrow is open houses for the high schools. I am still the PTO president at Jones Leadership Academy in Business. I want y'all to pray that we will have another parent that will come on up and step up and take that over for me. I will still lead support there, but tomorrow I'm taking those signs over there, and we're going to greet those new families coming in and the old families that have been there, and we already know it's going to be a great school year. I have claimed it. Mr. Thomas, I met with him today, the principal at J-Lab. He's in really high spirits. I met with the principal at King, Miss Bethany. She's in real high spirits. We are happy and ready to go.
Okay, I'm calling it a day, right? That's, how can you top all of that, right? Thank you so much, thank you. All right, let's see here, who is here? Mr. Ramirez with TAP? Yes.
I too am happy to be here. This is year 31, if anybody's counting. 25 years of being at these meetings. I used to sit in the audience every month, and then now I'm sitting at this table, but it's been 25 years. It was good to what Ms. White was saying. I was out at 3 or 4 buildings yesterday. It was yesterday already. Good to see the energy. Some of our new principals, new teachers, just smiling faces on the kids. It's always a great way to start off the school year, slap in the hands and pat people on the back. And it's excited for another school year. As a union, working politics and levies and supporting candidates that support public education. So that is the fight from now until November, and we're ready to win. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do not see Mr. Dalton here, or Mr. Parker from ASME. No? Okay. We're going to move to section 5, board comments. Mr. Vasquez?
I too am happy to be here. But I have to tell you, I was a little chill when I walked in, but after Ms. White's talking, boy, she just has such delivery that's so inspiring. I mean, I get so inspired just listening to you. It's your delivery, it's your enthusiasm. I'm just sitting here and I'm just kind of getting out of my chill and ready to follow you wherever you want to go and all of that. So it's going to be the beginning of another good school year. Yesterday, I spent the morning, early morning with Dr. Durant and Ms. Brinkman at Escuela, welcoming the new students. That is always one of my favorite things to do. They are, for the most part, they're excited. I have to say, Dr. Durant, I don't know how we do it differently, but I think when we do that, we kind of intimidate some of them. Some of them start in the door, look at all of us standing there, and think, I'm not so sure I want to do this. But you know, what is really inspiring is watching our youngest students with backpacks bigger than they are, that are coming prepared for school, and watching the parents as well, you know, coming down the hallway with them and helping them and encouraging them is always a good thing to see. So now I'm excited, Ms. White. I'm very excited about the new school year, and it's going to be a good one. We have some work to do, and we'll do that work. We'll get it done, and we'll do the work so that the students can get the education. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gerken?
Thank you. I'm glad to hear some firsthand accounts of the first day of school getting off to a great start. I really do look forward to seeing the the Transformation Plan 2.0 come to fruition, at least the part where people are finding themselves in new schools and new positions and getting settled in, and hoping that we can continue to provide as much support as possible for those difficult transitions. And I do think we still have work to come, and we're about to find out more about that in our 5-year forecast presentation here. I do like to acknowledge when I suspect there's a guest in the audience that might be here on a school assignment because they have to go to a board meeting of some sort. And I just want to make sure you know that what you're about to witness is going to seem like a lot of fast votes that you don't know, what they're really attached to. But the work of our board happens in committee meetings throughout the month. And you can find all of those agendas and minutes that are directly related to today's board meeting on board docs. So I don't know if anyone showed you the link to actually see the work and to see today's agenda, because you can see it, kind of just flashing before you, but it actually exists in a public place on board docs. So if you go to the TPS website, you can find your way to that. And if you need Ms. Mazur to kind of show you where to find all of the supporting documents to this board meeting, so you'll be able to really write your log or your report or whatever you have to do for school to show that you actually dug into the agenda. And some of what you see tonight will be interesting. Some of it will seem like it's just going through and voting on things that have just titles. So if you really want to dig in, you'll find that on board docs. I always like to share that. So looking forward to the rest of our duties tonight. So thank you, everyone.
Ms. Barnes.
Thank you, Madam President. Oh my goodness, so a lot to cover over the summer. First, I want to thank every staff member that showed up for our parade season. It was intense. I will maybe make a request next year that Gant does not drive. My back is still sore. But what an amazing turnout for each and every parade. We still have one more left. We're not in Labor Day parade. The bands are. I don't have to ride in that, so I'm okay with that. The Ducks was a hit. Thank you, Ms. Mazur and Ms. Brigman, for getting those together. People are still inboxing me for those. But I want to give flowers and shout outs because the staff did that on their vacation time, and they did it because they are TPS proud. So first, thank you to staff for showing up throughout the summer. Dr. Trevor, you was riding tough with us, so I appreciate you. And also I want to shout out City Councilwoman Brittany Jones for riding with us in Pride. Very fun time. Each and every parade, being in the community, showing that we are a part of the community, we are the community with the people, and so that's very important for, I think, our families, our students to see us. And once again, they were treating Dr. Durant like Obama when he came down, so it was just even cute. People was holding up babies like, look, it's my baby now, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's safe. But that's the joy, right? Because we are a part of the community, and we need to make sure we show people that, hey, we see you because we right here in your street. So once again, thank you, staff, for that. Also, just another TPS proud moment as a parent. I moved my son into his first week of college at BGSU, and to see all of the TPS babies, it was so cool. Like, hey, I know you. What you doing here? I'm like, no, I'm not over here. But my son is telling me he's meeting people from Start and Rogers and Jones and things like that. And it's really cool to see that they already have a family, and they're going to create a bigger family as a Falcon from TPS. So that's amazing. And I want to give a shout out to the principals who was not letting the parents in. It was hard for me. I cried in the parking lot. But I understand why, because a principal not let me in to see my baby off for the first day of high school, but it's okay. I understand why, because we are trusting you, and I thank you for that, because as I saw other principals do it at Glenwood, and LPs too, I said, oh, this is not just my principal doing it, this is all the principals, because they know what they're doing. We do not need to be crying in the hallways holding on to our babies. So I complained about it on Facebook, but she knows I love her for it. But I want to say thank you to the principals and staff for making sure that our babies are maturing as they go in through the door without their parents crying on them, including myself, because I was one of those parents who wanted to cry on my baby until he got to this first hour. The last thing is, once again, just thank you for everyone showing up. As a parent, as a school board member, as a community member, even in the storm, we have seen joy these past couple months. Yesterday, I went to 3 different schools. Dr. Durant and Board Member Parker, I don't know how y'all do it. I was tired. But just seeing the joys of the families coming in, the community coming together to welcome the students in was amazing. Ella P. Stewart showed up and showed out with the Queens of Queens. They had everybody in all kind of letters and clubs and everything. I won't say the Greek because I don't want to get in trouble with Miss Body, but that was beautiful. And our theme, I think, really resonated yesterday. Starts with us, and that means, yes, on the first day, all the way through the last day, it starts with us. And so I want to continue that momentum. I want to keep being in the community. I want community to keep being with us. So that's what it's going to take to keep fighting for public education. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor Parker?
Thank you, Madam President. As my colleagues have stated, it's exciting for the first day of school yesterday. We went to various schools. We went to King, and even though the location is different, the intention was still the same. And so was very grateful to see these young men and welcoming them in with some of our leaders from the community. It was a young man who literally still had his pants tag on the back of his pants. And so I pulled it off. He was like, man, I had that on. I had this ready since Saturday. I'm ready to go. So it was really exciting. And then we went to Glenwood. I agree with Mr. Vasquez, Dr. Durant, that a lot of our students, when they come in, they're overstimulated because it's like a shock value to them. So I would hope that the principal would say, okay, now, when you walk through these doors, there's some people that's going to greet you. But it was just an amazing time. And people from our community coming out and welcoming our unions coming out. And it just was a great time. Ms. White, I want to say, as has already been said, that your energy really shifts an atmosphere in a room. And thank you for who you are consistently. One of the things that I desire to do this year, because if we were honest, as board members, we have our connecting schools, our schools that we connect with more than other schools. And so I want to desire to really go into schools that I'm not as connected with. And one of those schools was Hawkins yesterday. And so everything you said about Dr. Winfield was she's consistent, obviously, because the same thing that you got, I got yesterday. And she's really just proud of her school and what this district brings. And it was just a great time. I also was a part of several of the parades this summer. Really excited about the Jeep parade, and I had a few ducks left, and I was going to try to sell them on eBay. But it was just really just an exciting time. We do know that we have challenges ahead, and so it pays for us just to embrace every moment that we have to celebrate the good and find the good in where we are and what we're doing, so that we'll have enough strength to really deal with the challenges that we are going to have to face and go through. So, thank you.
Thank you. I certainly also want to welcome our TPS Proud families and our staff. I know I was only able to attend Stewart Academy for Girls for just a little while, but the energy there is just really exciting and refreshing, and especially after the challenges that we've had earlier in the year. I mean, that was such a heavy heart for at least the first 8 months of the school year or of this year. And now I think when school starts, it's just like after the rain has swept things away and you get that fresh air and a positive outlook. That's what the first day of school feels like for me. And so it's an opportunity. I was able to attend one of our opening football games, and again, I appreciate the passes because my husband allows me to be on the board just so he can get his pass. Go Woodward. And then, I just want to make a comment about the video, which I think is very well done, and it inspires, right? It gives us that positive little zing that we need to start the school year off. So I applaud the efforts of the communications department. Thank you very much, because I know trying to do something over the summer when everyone's scattered is a bit difficult at times. From the social media pages that I've seen from all of the schools, open houses so far have gone really well. Beverly, because it's in my neighborhood, I get inundated with all these pictures from folks, and they certainly have a whole circus going on over there. I applaud the principal and the staff. They have really welcomed the Harvard community and made them a part of the community as a whole. And I would say the same for Oakdale and for some of the other schools that I've seen out there. They've just really stepped up, and so I applaud the staff for going that extra mile that is needed right now for our TPS families. All right, with that, I am going to move on to Section 6, which is the consent agenda. Agenda items 6.01 through 6.35 are the consent agenda items. Board members may request to pull an item from the consent and move to the discussion section of the agenda. Item 6.01 to 6.05 is Human Resource Committee. The chair is Polly Taylor Gherkin, co-chairs Randall Parker III. Item 6.06 to 6.18 is Budget and Finance Stabilization Operations Committee, Chair Bob Vasquez, co-chair Randall Parker III. Item 6.19 to 6.21 is Academic and Program Redesign Committee, Chair Polly Taylor Gherkin, co-chair myself. Item 6.22 to 6.31, Legislative and Policy Committee, chairs myself and co-chair Sheena Barnes. Item 6.32 to 6.33 is Building Relationships, I'm just calling it Bridges. Chairs Randall Parker III, co-chair Sheena Barnes. Item 6.34 to 6.35, Approval of Board Meeting Minutes. I'd like to request a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gherkin?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Varwick?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Thank you. Section 7 of the agenda consists of reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings and are here for information and reference. No action is required, so we can proceed to Section 8 of the agenda. And Section 8 are discussion items. 8.01, this is all you, Mr. Lockwood.
Thank you. I may want to defer to Ms. White, who might be able to bring a flair to the 3+1 forecast that I may not be able to do. But I'll try and maybe get some coaching afterwards.
Okay.
Thank you. So what you see in front of you tonight, and I want the board to be aware, this is the new forecast that the state came up with approximately 2 years ago. They changed it from what was previously the 5-year forecast to now what we are all referring to as the 3+1 forecast. And so what that means is that you still see 3 years of historical figures, and then the next year over, which for us is fiscal year 27, is a year based on what the district has budgeted. And then past that, year 28, 29, and year 30, you see what would be considered the forecast, similar to what was in the 5-year forecast. I do want to make note that the forecast has changed a little bit in terms of when it was due. And it's important to note these things. I'm going to talk about some challenges that have occurred because of the changes in what the legislature's done. The forecast used to be due in November of every calendar year, and then again a May update was needed. Again, required by the state in both sessions. Last year was the first year that they phased in this new change. The forecast was due October 15th of last school year, and then February, the end of February, is the new date for the updated forecast. This year it changed to what will be going forward, and the end of August now is the new date for the 3+1 forecast, and then the end of February is the next required date for the next update. Why that presents a bit of a problem for Toledo Public Schools and other large urban districts is because so much of our revenue is driven by enrollment. And so we unfortunately, what are we in day 2? And I need to figure out where 50% of my funding's coming from on day 2, right? And so that presents a big challenge for this forecast. The second piece of the forecast that's been a bit of a challenge, and this accounts for 25% of our revenue, has been the local property tax revenue. The way that property taxes flow into districts across the state is we typically see a preliminary payment in July, we typically see a secondary payment in August, and then usually right about now or the beginning of September, we see our final settlement for a half of year's worth of property taxes. We haven't seen our final settlement yet, partially because the county auditor's office decided to switch software packages, and so they are having some challenges finalizing that, and so we probably won't see our final settlement till the second week of September. So right there are two challenges that account for 75% of the revenue coming into the district in terms of me being able to accurately try to forecast that. Another challenge with the forecast, and I hate to keep using challenges as a keyword, but school districts reset themselves, as we've been talking about today, every year right about this time. And so every year my new teacher, my new staff contracts reset themselves beginning approximately September 1st. So as the summer progresses, I'm still paying my teachers and staff, even though they may not be working throughout the summer, and they're getting paid at the old rate. And then September 1st resets things, and we continue on down that path. In the previous models, when it was due in November, I used to be able to analyze the salary data bi-weekly that would come out and tell you, okay, I'm spending, $10 million times 24 pays, and I can come up with a pretty decent budget number. Right now, I'm still working on very old data, and of course, TPS also just went through Transformation 2.0, which has a massive effect on what our salaries are. So as we get into the actual numbers of the forecast, before Mr. Steckschulte left the district, he and I did work hand in hand on pieces of this. A lot of the expenditure data in here is historically Mr. Steckschulte's from our previous. I did tweak the revenue a little bit as we ended the fiscal year, and he wasn't here. We ended the year approximately $2 million better than we were forecasted to end. I think he ended at 7. We ended at approximately 9. And so when when that change went through, it obviously makes some adjustments floating forward through the forecast. The items I think that you notice is I obviously want to be conservative on revenue. It isn't a vast difference from where my forecasted years aren't a vast difference from where we were. But keep in mind, we have to pay attention to the challenges in enrollment and state funding, which will, after this school year, we'll see another biennium budget come into play. Again, dartboard in terms of trying to figure out what the state's going to do next. We're working really hard with the career tech piece and trying to amass some more dollars for the district by getting kids enrolled in the right coursework to provide that extra injection of funding, and then to again create that career program that brings kids in the district, which increases our enrollment. The notes, if you'll scroll down more towards the bottom of the forecast, where you start to see the red at about the middle of the screen up there, that's where our levies start to roll off the ballot, roll off the books. TPS has approximately 5 levies that are renewable, and those levies start coming off of the. If that shows the worst case scenario, if they weren't renewed, what happens? And so we're coming into a cycle now for about the next 4 years where we will see renewal levies on the ballot each time that we have the opportunity to place them on, to keep them on. But with the forecast, unfortunately, the state makes me pull them off the forecast and showcase what it would be like without them. So Dr. Grant's done a wonderful job in terms of getting levies passed in the district and renewals passed, and we're going to continue that success to make sure that those red numbers in the middle go back to black, and then at the very, very bottom of that, which are we already? If you could scroll down just a little more. So very, very bottom, if you look at the numbers in that last blue column there, as you go across the board, Toledo Public Schools is operating at a very razor-thin level right now. And so when asked about the challenges with putting the levy on, and this is really the need for it, we are just, we're operating with maybe just a payroll or a little more than a payroll on the books, and then we saw the challenges that caused when we went out for the bond rating and some of those other things. So that bottom line really does showcase the need for why Toledo Public Schools is on the ballot in November, and really the need to continue creating that innovative push for not only the district, but honestly for Lucas County and Northwest Ohio. So any questions, comments? I plan on updating this again with finance in October once we get a little better data in terms of enrollment. And then again, we'll see it in full board in February again.
Go ahead.
So my question is actually tied to policy, so I don't know for sure if you can answer it, but between you and hopefully Ms. Natashak, maybe I'll get some clarification. So you're saying that, of course, because we won't know a full effect of enrollment until roughly September, and when we do have a piece of policy saying that, hey, if you have low enrollment, we can come in and close that school. It hasn't been voted in yet. Now, the language I'm just throwing out to be in terms, like, layman terms, but pretty much it's saying if you don't have high enough enrollment, the state could come in and close that school down. And what I'm hearing, so just walk with me, what I'm hearing is because we won't have the numbers when we submit everything, that can determine the policy if it's passed and say, you don't have enough students, we're going to close this school down. Pretty much is what I'm hearing. Kind of, maybe no.
I wouldn't worry about that piece of the puzzle yet. This is going to be strictly for finances, and what you see with this is kind of what happened last time when the forecast was submitted and the state came in to say, hey, Toledo Public Schools, it's time to put a fiscal plan in place to get yourselves out of that. And so the enrollment piece, and there is a piece that if your building, I think, is at 60% capacity or lower, the state can do some things there. This forecast is not a piece to that puzzle, as far as I know. And again, I think the state would have to allow us the time to look at our enrollments at each building before a forecast that isn't even based on true enrollment yet, right?
Thank you. So what I'm not going to say you said it, but what I'm also hearing, if we had legislators who was actually in public education and for public education, they would know the enrollment data wouldn't come out until September.
That is a great statement, and I think this is one of the challenges. I brought it up with the Ohio Department of Education, the fiscal team, about 2 weeks ago, in terms of the challenges I was having putting this forecast together. And they knew two of the pieces. They didn't think about the enrollment piece, so I did brighten their eyes at least to the enrollment piece of how important that is. But they were familiar with the monetary pieces, which I kind of would expect them to, but I don't think they had a full grasp of the enrollment. And I said, TPS, and I said, and TPS isn't alone in this problem. We have a great transient population at Toledo Public Schools, and so we fluctuate by thousands of kids in a year, and I don't think that the Ohio Department of Education had their head around that.
Okay. One more, not saying you said it, but just putting it out there that if they also know that because of the great work that Dr. Baker and her department doing, we have the highest reported youth who are experiencing homelessness. That contributes to transit youth trying to figure out what school is best for their new location, whether that's the shelter or a family member's house, that also can fluctuate until October as well.
100%, and I would go as far to say that fluctuates obviously the entire year. It's not just a month deadline.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else?
I just have a question to make sure I'm wrapping my brain around the forecast. It is a new format. I still have to ask questions every time as if I've never seen it before. When you talk about, I think it's in line 6.010, where the red starts pretty much all the way across, that's because you have to pull out renewals from the forecast, as if we're not expecting that money. Is there any place where it goes back in for us to have at least, like if we make the assumption that at least the renewals are gonna pass, what our forecast really looks like?
Yes, so, and excuse me, because I am getting old and I might need to wear reading glasses. At about approximately 11.01, I have to put the figures back in. So you will see it in year 29, I had to put roughly 7 million back in. And then in year 30, I had to put 31 million back in.
That'll lead to my, so if we, never mind new money. I'm sorry, I can't use both hands at the same time apparently when I touch the mouse pad instead of my microphone. When we put the money back in, assuming just the very basic level of renewals, we still have some deficits to look forward to. I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Like there's more to come with or without new money. What's the worst case and best case scenarios?
You know, agree, I, as your fiscal consultant, I don't think we're out of the woods yet, and I think we need to continue to work in Transformation 2.0 to the best of our ability. The challenge is, like I said earlier, and then when it comes to new revenue generation, again, the state is limiting us every possible way that they can do that. I don't even have a frame of reference to give you for what I think the biennium budget will do to public education. And keep in mind, again, that'll be in a year or so. So keeping revenue relatively stagnant is, I think, probably our best course or best option as we push forward. And then at the bottom side of that is just tailoring our district to our enrollment needs, right? So as we have shifts in enrollment up or down, we need to operate our business as such.
Where am I going to find those assumptions in this report with renewals back in and what's to come without the new money levy? Am I following 7.010 across?
So without that, you're probably going to be looking at roughly line 12 that takes you we start in this year with approximately 14.5 million. Then we go to 15 million, then we drop back down, which is, again, a portion of that is where the levies start to come out and then come back in. And then, unfortunately, we are deficit spending. Again, I think we're in a period where we just have to continue to watch everything that we're doing and make the changes necessary. A piece of that, though, again, is keep in mind how important enrollment is to this district. It's 50% of the revenue. And that can fluctuate based on the numbers that we have.
So Ryan, I know you are an expert. Once again, I don't think you have a crystal ball to see what people are thinking that do not understand public education. But do this include or a high assumption on the effects that federal dollars being cut from different areas like Head Start and disability supportive services and things like that?
So right now, no, there is no forecasted assumption that we could potentially lose Head Start. If we did, that would be a devastating loss because we're currently getting about $11 million for that. And again, think about when I say we have 14 million left over and eating an $11 million expenditure, right?
Thank you.
Who else? Mr. Vasquez?
I think that all of these questions are very good questions. Madam President, the thing I want to point out is in this report, Mr. Lockwood has why he thinks they decided to go in this direction. And number one is alignment with annual appropriations. Number two, creates an earlier warning system for fiscal distress, which they have a hand in causing. And number 3, creates a mid-year evaluation point for district treasurers. None of those take into account education and students at all. It's all about what is convenient for them. And so what we're talking about is a legislature that tries to make it easy on themselves without paying any attention to what it takes to run a school district and what it involves with our families and our students. That's number 1. Number 2 is that I just don't know how Mr. Lockwood's going to make assumptions on the dates that are given. I mean, it's just like throwing something at a dartboard. Okay, we're just going to have you do the best that you can. And you're right. I think that the best thing is to try to assume that our finances are going to remain relatively the same from the state. I think that you're right that we're on just a razor thin. So what I would request is at finance, just for you to monitor and to regulate, and we talked about this a little bit at finance, and that is that any major purchases, any change in trends of what we're purchasing, that they come to finance, and not just come into finance as a regular report, but as highlighted, as that we're doing this or we're purchasing that. For instance, if we were to purchase buses, we need to do that. If we have major roof things, which we go over with Mr. Gant on a regular basis, but there are emergency things that come up. Because all those things will change that razor thin margin that we're working with. I think we have to stay on that like monthly to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. So I think with the other thing is that, Madam President, as you know, and as we've talked and been in discussions with other people, is that there are a number, and I think that's what Ms. Barnes was referencing, there are a number of pieces of legislation that will also impact. Yes. And I think you're right, Mr. Lockwood, we have to go forward with what we have in front of us right now. But I think what's happening is that we as board members have in the back of our mind, we're looking at these pieces of legislation that haven't gone to committee, that haven't been passed together. Okay. Now the next thing is, and I think everybody should understand this, is that there's always some push and pull, is what I call it, between board and our staff, meaning the superintendent and treasurer. And part of that push and pull at the last finance committee was, do you include in our budget the money that we don't have yet, or not? And that was a big point of discussion. I, for one, don't like to include it. Okay, I like to run it like I do at home. If I don't have the money in the bank, I don't assume it's going to be there. Okay, and then the other side of that discussion, though, was if you don't, then people don't know how critical it is to pass our levy. So I think these are points of education to the public and to our community and to the voters. So I can see it both ways. So and I understand it both ways. Mr. Lockwood and I have, it's, okay, I see what you mean. But when we spend, my opinion is we spend as if we don't have renewals, we don't have whatever. And that's actually what the state is asking to look at. That's what they're looking at, and that's what they're operating on. That makes it tough. I mean, if you look at it from that point of view, we're in a real tough spot. Okay. So what that says is that we really count on our community. And we've been able to count on our community. And so it's going to be really important for you and Dr. Durant and the rest of the cabinet to work together with the board to make sure we get these levies passed and that we're very prudent about our expenditures. The other thing I've always asked, and I know that there's always a point of contention with people, is the assumptions. So I just want to make it publicly known that I've asked Mr. Lockwood to be, to estimate low on revenue and high on expenditures, okay? And I just think that's the way I've always approached budgets. And so when he makes his assumptions, I don't want you to make assumptions that put us in a razor-thin kind of situation, okay? Again, that requires you working with Dr. Durant. I mean, Dr. Durant's folks, and what people need to understand is that Dr. Durant's folks are the ones who count our students in enrollment. You're the one that puts and attaches dollars to things. So you work on the information that Dr. Durant and his staff give you in payroll and in enrollment, okay? So it's really going to be important that you two work attached at the hip to, on an ongoing, and there's a daily basis to check in with each other to say, you know what's going on. And then having said all that, my last request, Madam President, is the Oversight Committee has been on a hiatus kind of over the summer. I would like to request bringing that committee back together again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President.
Who else?
Bishop, were you going to speak? Okay. Well, all of my colleagues so far have, including Mr. Treasurer, have opened the door to how the Department of Education and Workforce or the Ohio Legislature has impacted or otherwise tied our hands, everything from moving deadlines to times that don't make any sense and obviously have nothing to do with running schools, to make, even if we were talking about renewing levies, they have tied our hands in that, written a way for it to be more difficult and complicated to even do those things. I think it's clear that I'm going to up the ante and say it's not just that they aren't considering how schools are actually run or what students actually need, but I think they're gunning for us. They're gunning for us in every way that they can. I think this is a great example, looking at this forecast and how difficult it is, and yet it's required by law, and we're held to it, and it could trigger things like fiscal oversight. When $2 billion of public money is going to non-public, mostly religious schools in the form of vouchers, and those schools don't have to do any of the forecasting. They don't have to show that the money is being spent judiciously or otherwise, what they're spending the money on. They don't have to show that their students are actually making the same academic gains the way we do. They don't even have to accept every student. And so the whole guise of school choice, as we know, we've beat that dead horse, as you'd say, many times, and saying it's not really parents' choice, it's the school's choice which students they take with that $2 billion, with absolutely no oversight, no transparency, no requirement to do a 5-year forecast, let alone prove how the money is being spent. So I just thought I'd pile on that topic of the state legislature and the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. Not only don't they know how schools run and what we actually need to do it, but they're deliberately doing everything they can to gun for public schools as we know it. And I thank you for your efforts on this 5-year forecast.
Thank you. Anyone else from the board? Okay, so I just have a few comments and a question. First and foremost, I'm going to call out the state legislators yet again. I feel like a broken record up here. I think we all do. I've been sitting up here for 12 years talking about death by 1,000 cuts. And it continues year after year after year, and it gets worse. So, for example, in 2019, the share of public school funding was 46.3%. By FY 2027, it'll be 32% of the Ohio share, which is why we have to rely more on our local community to supplant what the state should be doing. Right now, they have a rainy day fund in the billions. Last year alone, they shortchanged Ohio Public Schools $2.75 billion. You spoke of the vouchers. We can go on and on about that one. That's also a contentious topic. It shouldn't be. It's not political, or it shouldn't be political, because it really is about facts. It's about the Constitution and what the Constitution says. The unfunded mandates that are coming at us, I just think of the curriculum alone and the BS that we have to now put in front of our students that we don't get any additional dollars for. We just have to absorb it somehow. Just like the $1.8 million that we spend every year to bus students at charter and parochial schools, and we only get $500,000 back from the state. So $1.3 million we have to find out of our general fund each and every year. It's astronomical. The fact that the Ohio Department of Education didn't even think about enrollment, I'm speechless at that. I shouldn't be, but I am a bit speechless at that. Legislators, I get, because they have a plan. They've had a plan for many, many years, and we've seen it coming to fruition. So what they're doing is 1,000 different cuts, right? And attacking in all different directions. I guess my question is more around the 5-year forecast, and when they created that little bundle of joy to change it, I'm assuming that OASBO and OSBA and all of the other organizations fought against that. My question is, are there any legislators that you know, or any organizations that you know that are willing to maybe take that mantle back up and change it back so we have some solid footing? There's absolutely no way that this could be justified. We don't have the numbers. So to create this 5-year forecast, or 3+1, whatever you want to call it, it's not feasible. It's just not. I don't know what the expectation is besides collapsing public schools.
You said a lot there, and I appreciate everything that you said. This new forecast and timeline, I'm going to liken it real briefly to the start of school. This is like getting our kiddos in the door, and in that first day, giving them a test that counts for their grade.
Yeah.
It's 99% of their grade at the end of the school year. And you haven't taught them anything, right? And so that's the challenge today, and I think that's how this relates very well to the challenges that we face in the classroom. But back to your question. So how this 3.1 came about, and I would say most treasurers across the state were very gung-ho. It actually arrived out of a committee made of auditors, state, and treasurers. The forecast did, because of course treasurer's great. I can cut 1 year off, an easy thing.
Sure.
The deadlines were what got added in after the fact by the legislature. That wasn't really a piece that was ever discussed. And so, in terms of where you're going, I had a really good conversation with my ODE fiscal consultant, and those are typically treasurers, retired treasurers that then move up to do this work. And why our consultant didn't know is because she came from a district that didn't have a transient enrollment. She had a very status quo enrollment throughout her career as a treasurer, and so that wasn't in her mindset. And her boss actually was never a treasurer, so had no concept of that. And so when I brought it to light, it was eye-opening, and I'm glad I did, because I think that that's the piece of the puzzle I think we almost need, because when superintendents like Dr. Grant and treasurers like myself go to the legislatures, they assume that it's always about the same topics, right? And the same thing with board members. And so if I can get ODE, and especially the fiscal arm of that, to say, let's pause for a second. This isn't right. I think we may be able to get some momentum on it, moving those dates back. And it's a bipartisan thing. I think this is a very easy sell to get the dates changed. Because at the end of the day, we all want to do the best things that we can, right, for kids. And sometimes it doesn't feel like that through our legislature. But at the end of the day, this is not hopefully a controversial issue that I think we can get some teeth into getting changed. And I just hope so, because again, this is kind of garbage. I hate to say it like that, but but really, today it's semi-meaningless.
So I also hear you not saying, but it's what I heard, is we should be sending them an invoice for educating them, since they don't know.
I would like to do that.
Madam President?
Yes.
I do have one more specific question, I hope. There's nothing that keeps us from doing the forecast again in October for the purposes of our finance committee, and then at that point, if those assumptions have changed drastically, you can also resubmit it and update it with the state, right?
That is all correct. Yes, I could forecast every day and submit it every day if I wanted to. I don't, but I could.
I'm going to make the request that in October, and traditionally we used to call it First Friday, but I think we get our enrollment a little faster now that school's starting sooner. But there used to be something called First Friday for the official counts in October. So I would like for that October Finance Committee meeting for you to present a new and improved forecast, and then let the Finance Committee colleagues decide with your advisement whether it needs to actually go to the state, or if it's closely aligns with whatever you already submitted. Thank you.
Anything else on this topic? I know. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and vote on this at this point then. We do have to vote.
The assumptions.
We do. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
You sound so happy.
I know. All right, any further discussion? All right, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Farwig?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
All right, thank you. That was a lot. Okay, we're going to move to section 9, which are walk-ins, and do we have any of those this evening? Yeah, okay. Section 10 is our early childhood education action items, and I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Barnes.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Galt.
Good evening, everyone. This evening, we have 4 action items that are required by the Office of Head Start. And you're going to have to vote on these individually, also required by the Office of Head Start.
Okay.
So our first item is item 10.01, the 2025-26 school year coming to an end. The Office of Head Start requires us to complete an annual report, and this is the annual report. So I humbly ask for your approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Farwig?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Our second item is item 10.02. This is an item for our delegate family council. They have a revision to their budget, as well as the TPS budget narrative, also required by the Office of Head Start.
Okay, can we get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Abstain.
Mrs. Farwig?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 3, 10.03, is a disability waiver request for the 2025-26 school year as required by the Office of Head Start.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Farwick?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Thank you for that. Item 10.04, which is our last one, is the Toledo Public Schools Early Childhood 2026 Self-Assessment. This is required at the end of the calendar year in which we do a self-assessment of our program and set goals for the coming year. I humbly ask for your approval.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Farwick?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Thank you for your actions. That's all of our agenda items.
Okay.
Madam President.
Thank you. Section 11 of the agenda consists of early childhood education reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings and are provided for your information and reference. No action is required, so we're going to move to section 12. Are there any early childhood walk-ins? Nope. Okay, then we are going to move on. Section 13, our superintendent.
Yes, some of the updates. Again, we had a great presentation with myself, Mr. Lockwood, Mr. Vasquez, and Pastor Parker over the Chamber of Commerce. They were very impressed and came up quite a bit of ideas in getting support for ourselves as we move forward in campaign season. Again, a great turnout for everyone that came out for the Back to School Bash. That had over 3,000 individuals that were there. Kids walked away with shoes, book bag, and supplies. Our barber program had cut over 100 heads just for preparation for the first day of school, as well as quite a bit of new registration and enrollment. So we really enjoyed that event as well. Obviously, it was a great first day. Met some of you at, whether it's at Escuela, King Academy for Boys, Stewart Academy for Girls, Glenwood, Rosa Parks, Old West End Academy, or Bowser Arts and Science Academy. All were en route of today's tour. But again, they were off to a great start. Enjoyed every bit of what they're doing with the new infusion of arts and science over at the Bowser Academy, and we'll start this week just as well. Those who were able to make it out to the Black Men's Wellness that was this Saturday, we had a great turnout as well. We had well over 500 screenings, which is a record for that event. And again, the best intervention is prevention, and so we want to make sure that not only do our families are aware of this, but as well as the students. So our pre-med students were involved in drawing blood as well as other things as part of that event, so we were just excited to be engaged into it. With that said, we're off to a great start, and again, thank you for being TPS proud.
Thank you. Our treasurer.
I'd like to just say thank you again for that discussion on the 5-year forecast. It means a lot to have a board invested in the finances of a district, and I appreciate the work we did in finance. We had a very long finance meeting, about 3 hours, and so we're working the problem, right? We're trying to find the best solution for the district. I'd like to just add that I ended last Friday over at the Toledo Pre-Med and Health Services Academy, meeting with Mr. Hunter to kind of get up to speed on the magnet programs, and I just have to share, I was just massively impressed. He had a handful of pre-med students in the building helping set up for the first day on a Friday afternoon, and I've never seen kids involved, and he didn't even ask them. They just wanted to show up and get their school ready for their classmates, and it was just amazing to see the work they were doing to get TPS ready to go this week.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting. All right, board members.
Yeah, I'd just like to start off by saying I'm looking forward to a good school year, but in addition to that, I just want to reiterate, I guess, what Mr. Lockwood said, and when you have new staff, new employees come on, you always have to build that relationship, and I want to thank you, Mr. Lockwood, for everything that you've done thus far, and I really appreciate the, as I said, push and pull. Your ability to have discussions, whether we agree or disagree, we try to work it out. We try to work through it. I think it's really healthy. I I think we come to some good end discussions, and then sometimes we defer those to the president and vice president. And you guys need to know that, because when he and I don't come to agreement, we just go ahead and pass it to you two to be the kind of the referees or the mediators. At this point, I just want you to know, I just really appreciate everything that you're bringing to the treasurer's position. I think in addition to that, the only thing I want to say, Madam President, is that we do have a lot of work to do still, and I think that we have to make more strides on our transition, and I think we knew we were going to have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we knew. I know we knew. We're going to have to go a little bit farther than what we have. It's going to be a lot of work. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Gerken.
I do have some comments and, possibly some questions for follow-up concerning flock cameras. I know it's a broad community discussion and an appropriate one to discuss, the legitimate law enforcement use of flock cameras versus the tendency towards mass surveillance that they challenge us with. I think, like I said, it's a broader community conversation, but somehow TPS is being brought into it directly because I continue to see headlines from city council efforts to expand their flock cameras. And according to the headlines, and I know we can't control what the media is saying or how it's being reported over and over, but right now the headlines are something like the city wants to point flock cameras at schools, which I suppose we can't control if it's on their property pointing at schools, and that's a little different than asking us to place flock cameras on school property, which would be a full discussion. But they're also reporting efforts to have us connect or link our existing security cameras to the flock databases, all of which I think does pull us into that conversation on a micro level and how it applies to us. I have only seen it, the discussion show up in one committee meeting, and that was briefly looking at an MOU that didn't get very far, I think, from the city in the finance committee. I'd like to see this. And maybe the fact that it's not on any committee agendas means it's really not going anywhere. But I would like to see it on our policy committee agenda, and sometimes we kind of make the rounds to committees on topics like this. I think it would be appropriate in the bridge committee. The two committees I'm on, I'm not surprised it hasn't shown up on our agenda yet because it's, curriculum and HR. Although mass surveillance of our employees' license plates might be something to be considered, that maybe our labor unions would be interested in that conversation. I just say that it is in our court, even though it is a legitimate, larger community-based discussion. And so I'd like to see some movement on that. And I know, like I said, we can't control what's in the headlines, but I think we can correct what is being reported, or at least recalibrate those discussions so that it doesn't sound like it's something we're already doing or we have already decided, because I haven't seen it appear on any committee meeting agendas other than briefly in one finance committee. So I'm going to continue to ask that this conversations be done transparently among board members before we get any further, or before we continue to imply that we will be linking our security cameras to a mass surveillance database.
Ms. Barnes?
Thank you, Madam President. So I was going in a different direction, but to piggyback off of my fellow board member, if a certain city council person is so concerned about security and safety for our students, they will look at efforts that will have been done in Chicago and Baltimore, not only to reduce homicide rates, but also increase attendance rates in those school districts. So we have blueprints that is connected to city council and school board and the mayor that is working and have evidence of working, and it does not include flock cameras. So I'm going to put that there. Then I'm going to pivot. because once again, our theme is starts with us, and I want to make sure that means including our joy, including reclaiming our time, but also including action. I have heard continuously that when we were talking about how people are, the federal and state level is going to be defunding education, people was like, that's not going to happen. When things said, oh, he's going to discriminate against our teachers from teaching the truth, that's not going to happen. By now, we know that Project 2025 is a thing, it's playing out. Actually, 80% has been done. And with, I want to say 45 to 55%, I can't remember the exact percentage, was actually targeted to education. Those things have been done, and it's been up a long time in progress. And so what I want to say, it starts with us to actually be aware and stop saying it won't happen. I am from my hometown. When I was enrolling into 9th grade, we had 40 schools. Currently, we have 10 schools left. 3 are junior high school, and we have 1 academy. It has been done. Other places have completely dismantled their public education. Eastern Michigan is all charter schools. It has been done. They are doing it here in Ohio. And so we have to reclaim our time, reclaim our joy, but also take action to make sure we protect public education. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor Parker? The only thing that I'm going to add is that we had discussion in policy and legislative, and I don't know how this is going to look yet, but my intentions are absolutely to make this happen. I would like to do a community, whether it's a forum or maybe it's our committee in the evening, where we have a presentation on all of the legislative bills that would impact public education overall. And that way we can educate the community on the bills that we are facing and that we know about. But I think a lot of times the community, they're not aware of what is going on. Everybody's on their own silos. They're doing their own things. You know, it's first day of school. They're buying school supplies, all the things. But if we can set aside a night where we could bring the community in and educate them on the bills, that will have a major impact on their students' education. I think it would be beneficial. So whether we do a committee, whether it's a special board meeting, whether it is maybe just, school board member, myself doing it, I don't know yet, but that's going to happen. And my goal is to have it in October. So with that, I'm going to call it a night. Can we have a motion to adjourn? Don't move. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Mrs. Gerken?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mrs. Farwick?
Yes.
And Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Thank you.